share my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen okay? Amazing. Okay, so we're here to talk about how do we move out of burnout into worth, to self-love, to self-worth. And we're talking about really giving you some tools and a self-love toolkit for high achievers, because as high achieving women, we're all about implementation and getting things done. So I like talking about tools. So I want to just take a couple of minutes for those of you that don't know me and just give you a bit of my story about what led me here, just a little bit about me. So um, I've done a lot of personal development. I've been on a healing journey probably for the last decade. And one of my healers asked me this question, and she said, Nisha, what's the biggest lesson that you have to learn in this lifetime? And my answer under hypnosis was that I'm good enough. So I was, I'm still a nice girl. I'm still a nice person, but I was a nice girl, right? Like I'm there in my corporate suit, the high achiever, the overgiver, the people pleaser. I couldn't say no. Um, I couldn't, I couldn't get mad. Um, I was all about perfect, prove, and perform. Like that was my motto. I have 4 degrees. I had a six-figure income, a house that I bought. Like I was doing well, right? Like I had all the things. I even in this photo, this is me. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro when I was in burnout. That's a 19,000-foot mountain. I was fully burnt out, and I did it because I needed to give myself the achievement. I needed the win. I gave and gave in my life until my armor broke internally, till I was screaming on the inside. And as I did the work, I realized that the reason that I burnt out is because I wasn't valuing myself. The giving and the doing gave me value. I felt like great about ticking the box, if you can relate to that. My career, my health, my relationships, and my finances, everything was struggling. I even moved cities on a whim because I thought, oh my God, if I change my outsides, like let me just change the city I live in, that it's going to fix what's going on inside of me. And I can tell you it didn't work. I moved to Calgary where I wore a cowboy hat on my head, literally. Elizabeth's laughing. I couldn't escape the record that was playing in my head over and over and over again. And there was a song on repeat, and we all have a record, every single one of us. And it went something like this: I'm broken. I am unlovable. I am not good enough. I am not worthy. And repeat and repeat. I even went into an inspirational speaking competition in this picture when I was still in pain around belonging. And I still had that record playing in my head. I went to some pretty dark places. Bridget Jones, I can relate to her. She chose vodka and Shaka Khan. For me, it was red wine. I was lonely, bitter, angry, depressed. I numbed. I had a lot of shame and a lot of judgment around myself and around other people. I struggled to attract the love and abundance that I wanted into my life. And I literally thought there was something wrong with me. Like I walked around with this internal chip. I was burnt out for a decade. That is a very long time to be burnt out. And it got so bad at my worst that my puppy was 2 years old and I literally could not walk her across the street. I was driving across the street to a park we have in Toronto. It's kind of like the Central Park is to New York, is what Hyde Park is to Toronto. I would drive across the street. I knew that I had to make a change. I knew that I had to stop that record in my head because I couldn't handle it anymore. It was literally killing me. And so I learned the hard way that I needed to do the inner work to heal. I had to start finding my worth internally. I had to start finding something within me instead of expecting other people to give it to me outside. And so I dove deep into inner work. I dove deep into my mindset, my thoughts, my feelings, my judgments, my ego. And one of the things I learned, and I really want you to let this sit, is we don't get what we want. We get who we are and we get what we expect. We don't attract what we want. We attract who we're being. Now, what the heck is self-worth? What is this thing all about? And I just want to kind of simplify this because there's a lot of words that get thrown around. So, self-worth is this deep, unshakable belief that you're valuable and you're enough simply because you exist. It just is. It's a belief. It's what you believe, and your beliefs are thoughts that you think over and over again. And I want to differentiate self-worth from self-love. They're used interchangeably and they're very connected. Self-worth is what you believe about yourself. Self-love is how you act toward yourself. How do you act to your partner? What acts of love do you give to your partner and your kids? Those are the same things that you should be doing to yourself. So, for example, I believe I'm worthy of rest. So I'm going to schedule rest time in my calendar. To me, that's an act of self-love. That's me loving myself. I just wanted to make that distinction for you. Self-worth is not tied to your achievements, your looks, other people's approval, or your productivity. But as high achieving women, we think it is because that's what we know, right? And why do we struggle with self-worth? Well, because we're rewarded. We get a reward. We love performing. We love achieving things. Like I climbed a mountain when I was burnt out and raised money for charity because I liked the accomplishment that it gave me. We're rewarded for performance, for taking care of everyone else, right? Especially if, we're mothers, we're rewarded for taking care of our families, for our children, for being good sisters, daughters, wives, all the things. Our value is put in what we do for other people. And we're never really taught how to receive. So we feel guilty for resting. We feel guilty for doing things for ourselves. We feel guilty when someone says, oh, you look nice today, or oh, let me take a load off your plate, because we think the more we do, the more value that we have. That was what I did. And why do you need a toolkit? Why is that important? Well, because like I said, we tie worth to performance, and tools and practices will help you to shift yourself back to calm, energy, and truth, especially when life happens and it pulls you back into the hustle and it pulls you back into being in your head. And when I talk about self-love and self-worth, this is one of the biggest things I say is that it's not about loving yourself, is not about how you are when you're having a great day. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like it's easy to take yourself for a mani-pedi, but it's how you handle yourself. To me, it's so important with how you handle yourself when you're not at your best. And so life happens. So what things can you do on the daily to continue to chip away at that voice in your head that says, I'm not good enough? And here's the hard truth. One moment of gratitude or repeating something or a mantra is not going to change you, because your brain has been rehearsing negative thought patterns for years. The stories that you've created, that inner critic, that part of you that says, oh, I got to keep doing. If I do this, I'm going to get praise. If I do this, I'm going to achieve. If I achieve, I'm going to get the value. That has created the identity we have as high achieving women. And it's wonderful being high achieving, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But who are you without the applause and without all of that? That's what I want you to tap into, because when you own your self-worth, you know that you are worthy regardless of all those other external things. And the big thing here is really that your thoughts shape your beliefs. Your beliefs are just thoughts you think over and over and over again that just become ingrained in you. Those beliefs create an identity, that high achieving person, that person that thinks they have to do everything for everyone else, and that's why they're burnt out. It leads you to make those choices to overgive and to do things, right? And those choices frame your reality. So if you're feeling the burnout, it's because your thoughts have led to a belief and identity and choices. And I just wanted to put that linkage there and for you to put that in the back of your mind, because that was a huge shift for me when I started to realize that the root of a lot of what was happening to me was what I was thinking. So your thoughts become things. And the magic happens when you show up and again for yourself, not just one time. So this is a consistent process of how do I show up for myself every day? And I'm hoping that there'll be a tool or many tools in here that will help you and you resonate. So when you start to shift that identity, this will have a positive impact on your health, your relationships, and your finances. It takes time. And like I said, it is about repetition, consistency, showing up for yourself, and prioritizing you. And I want to honor you for being here today, because just the fact that you're willing to even take a listen to what is this about tells me that you're looking for some information and you're ready for change. And so it's really about, this is about a daily, a consistent process, or doing it when you can. So we're going to dive right in. These are the 5 tools that I use every day that are my favorites and have had a really huge impact on me. So tool number 1 is an energy audit. So energy, everything is energy, everything. And one of the first things that I did when I was burnt out and I couldn't get out of bed was I had to start deciphering and looking at everything in my life in terms of what it did to my energy. So I want you to right now, I'm gonna set a timer for 2 minutes. Make a list of 2 columns. One is things that drain you. What drains me, and the other column are things that are energy enhancing or grow your energy or lift you up. And I'm just going to set a timer for 2 minutes, and I just want you to make just a quick list. You can expand on it later, of things currently in your life. They could be people, they could be relationships, they could be activities, people activity, things that drain you, that suck the life out of you, and things that energize you. So I'm just going to give you a bit of time to do that. Okay, another 10 seconds. Awesome. Okay. And the idea there, Elizabeth, is really that you want to move towards obviously things that lift up your energy, right? And this is a big one, because if there are people, you're looking at your relationships, you're looking at your friendships, right? This was huge for me. So make a list of that. And the idea is the more you can become aware of the things that drain you, we obviously want to be doing less. So before you start something, ask yourself, what column does it fit into? And then slowly over time, start to chip away. So you're only doing things that energize you. So tool number 2 is what I like to call the appreciation rant. Now, appreciation is about the daily how. It's about noticing the tiny details and being present. And we hear a lot about gratitude, right? Gratitude is very similar. Gratitude, I feel like, is more of like this big why. It's a little more grounding. On the daily, they're kind of the same thing. I like to think of appreciation as about kind of maybe more of the tiny details and being present. So I've kind of shifted on the daily basis more towards, I call it an appreciation rant. So for 2 minutes, I'm going to set another timer. I want you to just go on a rant of everything about everything you appreciate. It doesn't need to be complicated. Maybe it's the pen in your hand. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe it's the carpet. Maybe it's your socks. Like the idea is to look around, and especially if you're blocked and you're burnt out and you've got brain fog, is just look around you and start to appreciate even what's in front of you. So as you do that and you write, I appreciate this, I appreciate that, I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes and I'll let you go. Hey, awesome. You're welcome to share. Is there anything that sort of you wanted to share that came up for you in that?
Sure. So there's no particular order, but my partner, my games, my dinner with my partner, our drink ritual. We have like a cheers ritual we do.
Nice.
Um, my Eeyore, which has been a sleeping thing that I use to prop my arm up because I have a bad shoulder. My blanket, my sunglasses, my mom, my brother, my dad, my niece and my sister-in-law, my time outside of work, um, my art classes, my doodle class, and my slippers.
I love all of that. And what I loved about that was that it doesn't have to be this, it can be big things, right? Like my family, or it can be like, my dinner that I just ate, or like it can be everything. And so, how did it feel for you as you were thinking about that, or even as you were talking about it?
It made me smile, like it made
Yeah,
me happy.
yeah. And so I love that. And that's why this is something that I do every day. Um, and it's a really great way to just, especially if you're having a bad day and you're angry and everything, nothing is going your way. When you start to focus on, even for 2 minutes, what can I appreciate? I've had days where I'm like, I appreciate the pen I'm writing with, right? Like simple things will really shift you. So go on an appreciation rant that is a daily tool. And the other thing I'll say on that is I've been doing this for years. And the more that you can cultivate this muscle of gratitude slash appreciation, it becomes easier for you. It's like lifting weights. It just becomes easier for you to flex. So that as when you're in a bad state or you're having a bad day, you naturally will start becoming more in tune with how can I be grateful for this, or what am I grateful for? What do I appreciate? It does work. But like I said, it's something you have to consistently hone. Even if you can only do it for a minute, go on an appreciation run. Tool number 3, I love this. I like to call this the grace mantra. And we've all heard about mantras, and I've had a lot of mantras thrown my way, in my life, and this one really stuck. And this is around what happens when something bad happens or you make a mistake. If you do something like, I forgot to show up for on a Zoom call last week. And I'm normally really good with managing my calendar, but it just slipped my mind. I don't know what happened. And when something like that happens, what does your inner critic do? Does your inner critic slap back and say, "Oh my God, you're so stupid. Like, why did you do that?" And then how do you recover from that? So what I said to myself was, I'm an innocent child of love. I'm doing the best I can. I forgive myself for blank. Um, I'm doing the best I can. That has stuck with me when I've had those situations, like when I forgot the call. I was like, oh my God, this person was waiting. I felt so apologetic. I apologized. And then when I was out of it, I said, you know what? You're doing the best you can. I'm an innocent child of love. I'm doing the best I can. And our communication um, shapes our reality. And so that's why your words really matter and your thoughts really matter. So I urge you to try it the next time something happens and you want to crap on yourself. When you ask yourself, am I doing the best I can? 99% of the time you are, right? It might not be your standard, but you're working with what you got. And self-love and self-worth is about honoring ourselves in those moments. So I'm an innocent child of love. I'm an innocent child of the universe. I'm doing the best I can. I forgive myself for missing that or burning the dinner, right? You're doing the best you can. So that's a quick one to remember. Take a screenshot of it or write it out. But I call this the grace mantra. Ask yourself, am I doing the best I can? This one is huge. This is the check-in. I do this in the morning mainly, but also throughout the day. And so I'm a big fan of journaling, huge fan of journaling. And so my tool number 4 is about asking yourself 2 really simple questions. I don't want to make this complicated. I don't like complicated practices because then we don't remember them. So when I journal in the morning, one of the first things I write down is I ask myself is, how do I feel right now? Like, am I okay? Am I tired? Am I angry? Am I excited? Um, what am I looking forward to? And what do I need today? What do I need today? Or what do I need right now? Do I need to go back to sleep? Do I need to have a conversation? Um, it's really checking in with yourself, especially around the feeling. Name the feeling. How am I feeling? Am I energized? Am I excited? Am I lethargic? Am I sad? And then when you do that over time, it's being more curious, like, why am I tired? Did I not go to bed on time? Was something on my mind? And so it's that process of being curious. And again, doing this on a consistent basis, this is how you get to know who you are and to cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself. And that's the foundation of self-worth. So journal and reflect on that, or at least think about it. And over time, you can do this really at any time, right? You don't have to necessarily do it in the morning, but this is when I like to do it. But checking in with yourself. How do I feel right now? And what do I need? It's a simple tool, but just even if you're in back-to-back meetings, sometimes that happens to me, and you're going from one meeting to the next and you feel rushed and you're burnt and you're like, oh my God, I can't think. Pause and just say, how do I feel right now? Like, am I okay? What do I need? And then try to give yourself that when you can or in the moment. Maybe it's a breath. And what this does is it allows you to really anchor into yourself. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes right now to think about that and just journal on those two questions. How do I feel right now? And what do I need today? Okay, awesome. Okay, now we're going to go to the fifth tool. This one might take a little bit longer, but this is huge. So I've talked a lot in this masterclass about your thoughts and this idea that our thoughts, they shape our reality, right? They shape our beliefs, what we think about ourselves, our identity, our actions, our results. And so self-love and self-worth is about giving yourself better thoughts to stand on because what we think we become. And this work of like really paying attention to my thoughts, first acknowledging my thoughts, being aware of my thoughts, and shifting them. Doing this consistently, the repetition, this is what is going to shift things for you. Because, like I said, this isn't a one-time thing. So, this is my thought shift process, and I can see you writing them down. That's great. And there's 5 steps to this. And so what I'd love for you to do is to pick one thought that you have, like one negative thing. Like it could be um I'm not fit and healthy because I never go to the gym, or I'm not a fit and healthy person. I'm just throwing something out there. So there's certain steps that we go through, right? We catch the thought, like, oh, I'm thinking this again. Um, the second process is challenging it. Like, is this really true, or is this my inner critic? Is this mine? Or is this something that my parent used to tell me all the time? Where did it come from? my experiences, my childhood, my upbringing, or did I create this? Right. So that's really important, is to understand where it came from. The third thing we're going to do is reframe it. So we're going to take that I'm not, let's say it's I'm not fit and healthy, and then reframe it like, who do you want to be? I I'm going to make this very simple. Instead of saying I'm not fit and healthy, or I'm overweight and unhealthy, or whatever, it could be fitness and health. I prioritize my fitness and my well-being. I prioritize my fitness on a daily basis, as an example. Like, I'm this person, this is who I am, versus the negative thought is, oh, I'm never fit and healthy. Um, so we want to change it and reframe it. And then when you reframe it, the fourth step is to start collecting evidence that you're this person. Because I find if it's I'm not fit and healthy, there's probably things that you're doing that are contributing to your health, right? So it's about finding evidence. And if you literally are like, I have no evidence of this thought, I would find that hard to believe, because I think if you look hard enough, it's there. But it's about building that evidence. So evidence number one is I had a healthy meal today. Evidence number two is I have planned my workout for Friday in my calendar. Evidence number three is, oh, that pair of pants is fitting me better. Like, I feel better. Like, I feel more fit. So it's about constantly finding evidence, because your brain and your ego are going to keep going back to number one, where the thought happens, and then you're like, number two, you have to go, is it true? Is it true? No, it's not true. This is who I am, and here's the evidence, right? So it's about collecting constant evidence and then repeating that out loud. I mean, we've all heard about affirmations. I love affirmations. I do believe that communication is creation, but you also need to feel it. But it starts with this process where you're catching the thought and you're going through these steps. So, um, Elizabeth, do you want to go through an example right now? Or would you rather
Sure.
do that? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We can just do it on here if you're okay with that, and we can just help you work through it. So, what's like one recurring negative thought you have?
I'm not a good cook.
Okay, I love it. Well, I'm sure you are, but okay, I'm not a good cook. So now my challenge for you is this true?
Um, it's true with some dishes, but not with others.
Okay.
So, so not all the time is it true. Sometimes it's not true.
Okay. And where did this come from? Is this belief yours? Is it your story, or is it inherited?
I think it's inherited.
Okay. So then my invitation for you is to dig further, you know, when you're ready to do that, is where did it come from? Is it somebody in your family, your experiences, work, whatever, that said something to you that gave you this belief, right? So we've determined it's not really true. Like, there might be, a thing here and there that you're not as good at making. I think good is a relative term, but it's not yours. Okay. So step number three is we want to reframe that. So in terms of cooking, who do you want to be? What do you want to be saying about yourself?
I want to say I'm a good cook.
I'm a good cook. So I'm a good cook, right? So now that's great. So that's your new thought that we want to replace every time we think I'm not a good cook. So now, what are two or three pieces of evidence that you're a good cook?
Um, I can learn to make new things. Um, I am diversifying my palette slowly,
I love it. Trying new
diversifying
things.
it. Yeah. Um, and um, I'm really invested in improving. And so I've um like I'm paying more attention to like skills and what I can do, like what ingredients and stuff I can use
Yeah,
to make things better.
I love that. So we've got three great pieces of evidence. You're versatile and you're growing and you're committed to your growth as a cook. And so you could go, sometimes when we reframe a thought, we don't, it takes us, we need a couple of steps to get there before we believe it. So you could even do something like, I'm a good cook is a great way to reframe, right? You could say something like, um, I, I'm taking regular I'm committed to taking consistent action to bettering my skills as a cook. Like that's a bit more long-winded, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
To work in the evidence. If your brain can't get around, I'm a good cook, because you've been saying for so long that I'm not a good cook. But those
yeah,
are just some things you can do is here's the evidence. Like, so if you make something tomorrow and you're like, let's say, for example, you burn it by accident, unintentionally, of course, and your brain you automatically think, oh, I'm not a good cook. Well, you know from today that that's not really true, that it's not really you didn't really create that story. Your new story is, I'm committed to my skills as a cooking, I'm committed to my skills as a cook, and I'm getting better every day,
yeah,
right? That maybe you can get behind that. Think about just how you can modify if you can't get behind I'm a good cook right away. Because sometimes we need to be open to the possibility of being a good cook,
yeah.
right? Um, and then the fifth step is saying it out loud, which is,
I'm a good cook.
I'm a good cook. So I love that. So that's a really simple example, Elizabeth, but I've literally done this with like almost every negative thought pattern I've had. It's taken time. But the good thing about this process is once you become aware and you go through this, right? And think about the other thoughts as you start to, think about, ask yourself, how am I today? And you start doing some of these tools, you're probably going to start becoming more aware of the things that you're saying to yourself. And as you start to go through this and you keep doing it, over time, the repetition will cause you over time to start changing that, because you're going to be like, no, I'm a good cook. Yeah, because I did this and this and this and this. So this whole process is really powerful. It's probably the most powerful tool because it will help you with all of the other ones. To really start looking at what you're thinking. Um, the thoughts are thoughts, what we think we become. I have it right there on the screen, and thoughts become things. So this process will become your ally in your journey. Um, as I started to heal, I had to really go through this with everything, and my thoughts were usually went back to, I'm not good enough, like that record, right? And so it's okay, where did that come from? Is it true? Did I create it? Is it someone else's? What do I want to feel? What's the evidence? And then we're repeating that. And maybe that becomes an affirmation for you when you start planning your meals for you and your partner, or before you start cooking, you're like, I'm open to the possibility of being a great cook, or I'm taking daily action to better my skills as a, like, whatever it is for you, that would be the process that I start to follow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes.
Lovely. Okay, amazing. Okay, and so those are the 5 tools, right? There was the energy audit, the appreciation grant is huge, the grace mantra, I'm doing the best I can. I'm an innocent child of love or the universe, or whatever you want to put in there that resonates more with you. Checking in with yourself, journaling is great for this. And the thought shift process. So these are the 5 things that I use daily that have really, really helped me. And so we've got about 15 minutes left, but the last thing I'll say is if there's a deeper feeling or calling that you have, I will put my contact details in here in the next slide, but and I also have something for you as well. But I invite you to reach out and book a call because if you're looking for deeper support, I've definitely been on this journey. Um, and my 3-month program, it's called Rediscover You, is open at a special founders rate until September 30th. So and even if you just want to chat and share about some insights, I'm more than happy. I'm here for you. I also have a free self-love assessment. So you can scan that QR code. It's totally free. And it's just a quick and easy sort of assessment that you can do to see where you're at because sometimes people aren't aware of like what they're doing to themselves or what they're thinking, and you're not really sure about, you just know I don't feel great and I'm burnt out and I'm overwhelmed and I'm tired of giving or whatever the feelings are happening. So I invite you to take a picture of that, scan that, and fill it out. And my booking a call link is in there. It's talkwithnisha.com. You can also sign up for my email list. I only send out one email a month, usually no more than one or two. I'm on Instagram as well. I'm quite active there. I usually put out almost one reel a day and give people sort of really easy tips on a daily basis for them to start deepening the connection they have with themselves. I'm all about helping you date yourself. And I think it's so important, especially if we're burnt out and we're not feeling at our best, right? The relationship that we have with ourselves is the most important relationship in the world. And like we date our partners, I believe we need to be dating ourselves every day. And these tools have really helped me to date myself on the bad dates, to be with myself on the bad days because your relationship with yourself is a lifelong courtship and there's no option for divorce, like at all, right? Is what I always say. And so I'm gonna stop my share. I think we lost the other person. But yeah, and so we've got a couple of minutes. I'm gonna where they changed. Oh, there's the recording. Um, so yeah, I mean we've got a couple of minutes left. Did you have any questions? Were there any sort of ahas, anything you wanted to share?
Um, not not I mean, I think like when you were talking about like the check-in and you said like when you're going from one meeting to a next, I think that's really important. I've been on FMLA now for a few months and I'm getting ready to go back to work in the next couple weeks. And
Yeah,
I have a lot of anxiety around it because obviously I've been out and I've been really working really hard on going through, my own burnout process and also through my own mental health journey.
yeah,
And obviously, like, I'm working on a lot of different things in aspect to myself, but work is not on that journey with me.
yeah, I get it. And then when you add it back in,
Yeah, and how it's going to be. So I like that idea, and I really like the idea of um, I really like the appreciation rant, but also this idea of like what is it that I feel and what is it that I need? And even thinking of that, like in between, like as you're going from one activity to another,
yeah,
I really appreciate those concepts
yeah.
because
I'm glad,
um,
so glad to hear that. It's really helpful. And it really just it doesn't need to be complicated. It's just about giving yourself, like if you all you have is a minute to pause and check in, just give yourself that minute and just breathe. And it's when we ignore all of that
yeah,
and that becomes our way of being. And then you're just like running, running, running. And you're not giving yourself that date, right? That solo time, right? Like oh, I need to have dinner with my partner and that's wonderful. But what do I need to do with myself? I call it sacred solo time. Um, and so, you know,
I like that.
right? Like, even if it's 5 minutes, it's almost more important, in my opinion, than than anything else you're going to do in the day, because when you've connected with yourself and you've honored yourself wherever you're at, you can give more to your partner. You can give more to your job. Like you can give more, but it's that old saying, like you can't give from an empty cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, biggest thing is just take the tools and it's repetition. Some might resonate more than others, but it's just that awareness that, okay, I matter enough that I need to give myself something. And the moment you've already started to show up and do work like this, Elizabeth, you're already shifting.
Yeah. I've been working to try to find tools to help myself regulate and to help myself like put myself first.
Yes.
I'm a people pleaser and I'm a person who puts my family and my partner and everyone first. And I don't know that that will ever fully change, but I have to fit in there somewhere because otherwise, like you said, you can't give to others when you have nothing left to give because you're
Yeah.
not giving anything to yourself. So I've definitely
100%.
learned that kind of the hard way.
Me too.
Obviously I've heard the expression for most of my life, but experiencing it is a little different and it makes it a little bit more real.
Yeah. No, well, I honor you for being on this journey and committing to yourself. And I think it can change.
I do too.
I think just creating the desire to take care of your own well-being first and honor your own needs first doesn't necessarily mean that we can't give to other people. It just means that you value yourself enough that I need to make me a priority, because when I do that, I feel better. This is how much better I feel. And when I feel better, I naturally want to do things for my family.
Yeah.
It's just, it will naturally happen. Your life will naturally, your health will improve, the decisions you make will improve. Like all the things we want in life, they get better when we choose ourselves first, because we're naturally going to do things that are good for us. Like we
Yes.
naturally are going to move towards that. You're never going to make a list of things that drain your energy and go, oh, well, I'm going to do all those things. We just don't work that way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much I love that it was just an intimate group of us, and I really appreciate you for being here and engaging and bringing your notebook, and I hope that you learned something tonight.
Yeah. No, thank you. And I found you on Instagram already. So definitely,
Amazing. Follow me. I'm on there. I'm probably going to be on there in 2 minutes posting something, but and again, if you want to connect, I'm always here for you. Just follow me, and I wish you luck on your journey, and reach out to me anytime. Even
awesome.
on
Thank you so
Instagram.
much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
I appreciate so much. Have a great evening.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.